All right, how y'all doing? I got a quick question before we get started. If you had to, put it in words, I'm gonna ask this for the gentleman. What do you feel, according to the word that Yah requires from us? If you had to put it in words, what does He require from us?
Keep our household on the right place.
A high five for anybody who know the verse.
He said required to love Him with all my heart and obey His commandments.
Okay.
Exodus, right? Right before the 10 Commandments. I think
What you say, Monte? So they can hear you?
Well, it's not in the scripture, but
He had said something first. I want y'all to hear him.
well, it's not in the scripture. But I was just thinking, to make sure we have our household in the right direction for YAHUAH. Make sure we got it, man.
All right. What you say, Brother White?
Go sit down and close your mouth.
If you had to put it in words, what does YAHUAH require from us? Obedience. What you got for us? Yeah.
That's what I said.
Okay. No, I did.
To fear Him, His commandments.
That's all the brothers, right? I'm gonna let y'all sisters meditate on it. Faith. I heard somebody slide of faith in there. All right, we'll take that. Let's go to Let's go with Micah. Let's start with Micah 6.
Else nobody gets a high five now.
I mean, I threw it out there, and you know, it was fair. We have Micah chapter 6, verse 6.
Wherewith shall I come before YAHUAH and bow myself before the high Elohim? Shall I come before Him with burnt offerings with calves of a year old? Will YAHUAH be pleased with thousands of rams, or with 10,000s of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth YAHUAH require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy Elohim.
So there you have it. He said He requires of us to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with Elohim. Now the reason we come to this, because it's going to accomplish what we've been talking about for the last couple weeks. We just had a great lesson on mercy. We talked about being humble and being afflicted, and how that's the type of mindset we got to have if we expect to enter into His rest. And we showed several examples of how people were humble, and how to be humble and afflicted is going to bring forth perfection and bring forth the obedience that we already know that we should have. So the recipe, what He's saying He required, is to be just, to love mercy, and to walk humbly. Let's look at that word require. All right, it's a word that we dealt with before. That word is darash. It is darash. Darash. We got 3 characters for darash. D-A-R-A-S-H. Any takers? Ladalit. Laraj. Lashan. We got Ladalit, Larash, and Lashan. We dealt with this word before. Anybody know what this word means in the Hebrew? It says require right there, but it's a very simple word that we dealt with before in the Hebrew for darash. Anybody remember? No? Well, that word is deceit. It is to seek or to ask, to worship, diligently inquire, make inquisition, to search out. Alright? So looking at Darash and knowing it means to seek. And we go back in the verse and say, oh man, what is good, or what does Yahuwah require of thee, but to do justly, to love mercy, to walk humbly with the Elohim. So now we see that word require is to seek. So looking at the dollar, the Rosh, and the Shine, what do you think we get from the word seek? Have me one of the markers on my phone, brother. If we got the dollar, let's start with dollar. What y'all think dollar is? Entrance. That's what we're gonna use, entrance. I'll take entrance. So what about the Rosh? Say highest. The word is seek. Huh? You think it's thoughts for Rosh? I think I'm gonna take thoughts for Rosh as well. I was waiting for that. I waited for that call out. So we got the door or the entrance, right? And then we got thoughts. And then what we got for the last one? Shine. And the word is seek.
Thoughts. You
gotta have some sharp thoughts. Nah. We ain't gonna go with sharp thoughts. So we got shine, that is the sharp, to devour, to consume, to destroy, to pare, or to, and cut it. So if we're looking at that, are we looking at something being, if we're seeking, are we looking at something being consumed? Are we looking at something being paired? Y'all would say paired? Now remember, the word there is required. So when we're saying required, what are you going to use? Seek. So he's telling you that he's requiring you, or what does he require? He wants you to seek. He wants you to seek mercy, seek judgment, and he wants you to walk justly. Right? So what we're going to use then, we're going to look at it two different ways. Because if you're not seeking mercy, and you're not seeking love, and you're not seeking to walk justly, you're going to see where your thoughts is going to have you cut off. You know what I'm saying? So if you are seeking these things that he's requiring of you, you will be seeking what he requires, which is these things we talked about. But if you're not seeking these things, we can see how that shine can easily go from you being paired or you being joined to you being consumed or you being destroyed. So we're going to look at, throughout the course of what's going to be brought forth, we're going to look at how when we see the thoughts of the people being on what he required of them, we're going to see the manifestation of them walking with him and them being joined to him. And then we're going to see when we are not seeking those things, how we are stepping on the side of being cut off and being destroyed. Alright? So, from there, let's go to... Okay, I'm sorry. This is Darash. Alright. So, let's go to 2 Chronicles 15 and 12. Second Chronicles 15 verse 12.
And they entered into a covenant to seek Yahuwah Elohim of their fathers with all their heart and with all their soul, that whosoever would not seek Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharah shall be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. And they swear unto Yahuwah with a loud voice, and with shouting, and with trumpets and cornets. And all Yehudah rejoiced at the oath, for they had sworn with all their heart, and sought him with all their desire. And he was found of them, and Yahuwah gave them rest round about.
All right. So now we're looking at what we attain to receive, with us being what he required. He's requiring us of these things so that he can give us rest. Because we saying that we serve him, and we saying that we worship him, because that's another word that Darash means to worship. So you know who somebody worships by the qualities or traits they exhibit. So when he's telling us what he requires of us, if we say we worship him, these things that we should be seeking after. And if we're not seeking after these things, we couldn't be worshiping the Elohim we say we worship him. Alright? So the word where it says seek, whosoever would not seek Yahuwah shall be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. So now we're saying that if you're not seeking or you're not doing what he required, the consequences or the penalty is death. And the reason that death is going to be found by so many people is because they're not seeking him and they're not standing that way. So we saying we made that covenant by taking this man's blood, drinking this man's blood, eating this man's body. We're doing the same thing that they did right here. We're saying we're making a covenant to seek this man and do what he required. And if we don't do that, he is going to require that of us. Alright? So let's look at that. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 18. Alright? And let's go to verse. Let's start at 15.
Yahuwah Elohim will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee of thy brethren, like unto me, unto him shall ye hearken. According to all that thou desire of Yahuwah thy Elohim in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yahuwah my Elohim, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. And Yahuwah said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I'll raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words which he shall speak, in my name I will require it of him.
Let's start right there. So he's saying, I'm going to raise you a prophet amongst your brother, and he pretty much telling you need to do what that man say. And if you don't do what that man say, he said, I'm going to require it of you. Alright, so we look at this word right here for require. Any of y'all know what that word is? Yeah, when they say I'm required of you. Because we know that word for require, or that word that we saw for require in Micah is seek. So now we asked, the question was, what does he require of us? Now he's saying that he going to require this of us. And we know that word is seek. So now we see that if we're not in line with what he's saying and what his commands are, we know that the prophet among his brother he's saying is Yahushua, and we ought to do what he say. Because we already see right here at 18, he say, I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command. And we know Yahushua said he don't speak of himself, but he speak of his father. His father put the word in his mouth, what he should say and what he should do. So we got to understand that through his commands and what he's commanding us in the faith that's required of him, and the judgment that he brought forth through his death, is what we ought to be following. Because if we not, he going to require that of us. That means he's going to seek us out. And he's not going to seek us out to be destroyed, because the Rosh is the Dalit, the Rosh, and the Shine. So we already know your thoughts is what's going to either get you in the door, or it's going to get you consumed. It's going to either get you in the door of destruction to be joined with him, or it's going to get you in that door to be consumed. And he gonna seek that out. You get what I'm saying? So you want to be seeking him and not him seeking you for your head. Because that's the covenant we say we in. It's either you do your part, he gonna do his part. And we know he always feel his part. It's us that seem like we have a problem with following through when it's simple. The commands that he's giving is not hard. He's telling you 3 simple things to follow, and it seems like in a whole we lack putting these things together. And I want y'all to see the severity of what he's saying by us not seeking him. Alright? Let's see what he said out of his mouth. Let's go to Matthew chapter 23. Let's go to Matthew 23 and 23.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay the tithe of mint, anise, and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the Torah, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and to not leave the other undone.
Alright, so let's start there. So he's saying you have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. So we go back to Micah 6. What did he require of us? He says, I require of thee to do justly, right? Anybody know what that word for justly is? We just talked about it last week. He said to do justly. What's the word for justly right there? Mishpat. So we see this is what we just dealt with. Y'all remember the words for this? And what it meant.
Judgment.
Let's start with the letters first. There's 4 letters.
They already know it, so let them run it down. They know definitely now.
Huh?
They already know that.
Y'all already, I'm trying to see. I can't tell. Y'all remember the words for Mishpat? The Mem, the Shin. And what's the last one? The Tet. Alright. So we already know that. That goes into judgment. So that means you gotta have proper judgment, right? Mishpat, judgment, verdict, discretion, to be just, right? All right. So when we go back right there, we see the same thing out of the law. He's saying you got to be just, you got to love mercy, and walk humbly with Elohim. We already know humbly is to be afflicted, to be lowly. All right. And for you to be lowly, or you to be, get him out of that milk in the kitchen. Go sit down, Isaiah. All right. So we already know that
You're too big, boy.
the faith,
You're too big.
the faith is what you got to have if you dealing humbly. Because everyone that was afflicted, that's what get them through your affliction. You having faith and you believing and knowing that what you going through is going to bring forth the perfection. All right. So let's go back to Matthew 23:23.
Ye blind guides which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you make clean the outside of the cup and the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like unto wicked sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead man bones and of all uncleanness.
All right, let's start there. So this is what we got to make sure we discern and understand what he required, because outwardly, when we see bruised people in the word, the way they come off, you would assume that it's all about you keeping the law, you being obedient, when you have to take the steps to what he's saying or what's required for you to seek him. For one, if you seeking this man, you can't seek him without knowing him, without knowing his qualities, without knowing what he is about. So you got to understand he about judgment, mercy, and faith, and we got to see that that's all throughout the law. So it's not about you keeping the law, it's about you having that first. Because if you so prone on keeping the law, it's no different than how the Pharisees was. You promoting the law, but at the end of the day, you're not seeking him because you're not doing what he required of you. You're not executing mercy. You're not executing proper judgment and matter. So we got to understand that's what we got to draw that separation. So in your mind, when you think about what he required of you, what he wants from you, he wants you to be able to discern and have proper judgment. He wants you to show mercy, and he wants you to have that love for mercy. And a lot of times we don't see how the whole manifestation of him sending a prophet like unto his brother to do and say the words that he wanted him to say. It was so that we can have mercy, so that we can get what we didn't deserve, because all of us were in wickedness. All of us were outside of this man's mercy, because we were doing things that we ought not do. Even if we had the book right there, we knew what was right and what was wrong. We weren't seeking him, so it really didn't matter. Because half of us already know the stuff we was doing was wrong. We knew it was wrong, but we weren't seeking after him, so it really didn't matter that we knew that. That's why it really don't matter that you know what to do if you're not seeking after it with your whole heart. Let's read that. Let's go to Exodus.
Not playtime.
Matter of fact, let's go to Deuteronomy 4:21. Matter of fact, let's jump up to verse 26.
I call Shamahim and the rats to witness against you this day that you shall soon utterly perish from off the land whereunto you go over Jordan to possess it. You shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. Mm-hmm. And Yahuwah shall scatter you among the nations, and you shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither Yahuwah shall lead you. And there shall you serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek Yahuwah thy Elohim, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul. When thou art in tribulation and all these things will come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to Yahuwah thy Elohim and shalt be obedient unto his voice, for Yahuwah thy Elohim is a merciful Elohim. Mm-hmm. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he sware unto them.
So let's stop there. So now we're seeing the manifestation of what we've been talking about with being humble. We see that the tribulation and the affliction, we already talked about that you're going through, is to push you back towards him, so that you can begin to seek him, so that he can have mercy on you. Because we know he desires to have mercy, because he's requiring that of us. So why would he require us of something that he doesn't exhibit himself? If he's not willing to show mercy himself, why is he requiring us to do that? And the fact that we don't do that is what's going to require him to seek you out to destroy you. Because if you deserve to die and I didn't kill you, why aren't you going forth and showing the same mercy and judgment? It's no different than the parable we read about the man with the servants. He went out, the master forgave him and his debt. What he gonna do? As soon as his little servant owe him a little piece of change, you throwing a fit. Because you're not showing that same mercy that was shown upon you. He gonna require that of you. So we got to see it's the same thing. If you being a hypocrite, like he's talking about the scribes and Pharisees, is you saying that you serve him and you saying you seeking him, and then you're not showing forth the qualities that he's showing, and you're not doing what's required of you. And that's what we got to be conscious of, and that's the standard we need to hold each other accountable to. All right. So the other key thing we came here for is that he said that you ought to observe this with all thy heart and with all thy soul, and that's what we need to look at. Right? So he's saying you need to serve him with all your heart and all your soul. What do y'all think that means? He said serve you with all your heart and all your soul. Serve me before anything else. Everything you got. Right. So that means you ought to be giving your life to do what's required of you. That's what it's saying. Are you willing to give your life to do what's required? Are you willing to give your life up to seek him? That's what all your heart and all your soul means. And that's what we got to understand. That's the severity of it. And a lot of times you look at it saying all your heart and all your soul, are you really giving your all? Because if you really giving your all, that means before you put yourself up to die literally, you ought to be doing this stuff. Because if you're not, he gonna require that of you anyway. So if you're not giving it up yourself, he coming to take that. That's how we gotta look at it at this point. Because we done been too far. We come too far. We got too much information not to already know that. So you rather him take it to yourself and not inherit the kingdom or not be able to enter into that rest, or you rather give it up for your own self? What is that we say? I give it up for my own. Oh man.
John chapter 10, verse 16.
Let's get that.
Yes, ma'am.
John chapter 10, verse 16.
Or verse 18, actually. Well, 17.
Let's start at 15.
As Abba know me, even so I know I Abba, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also must I bring. They shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Therefore doth Abba love me, my Abba love me, because I lay down my life that I might take it again. No man take it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down. I have power to take it again. This commandment have I received of my Abba.
Right. So we seen this same commandment going forth to us, and that's why we tying that back. He've already sent a prophet among his brethren to say what needs to be said, so that we should do what needs to be done. And any man who is not laying down their life for their own, it's going to be required of you. He's going to have to come take that. Because we already read that when he said, if you're not listening to the commands that this man saying out his mouth, that he going to require of you anyway. It's all the same thing. Let's go to Romans 2:1.
Therefore thou art inexcusable, old man, whosoever thou art that judge. For wherein thou judge another, thou condemn thyself, for thou that judge do the same thing.
Boom. So start right there. So that's pretty much saying you judging somebody unjustly, and you not doing the things you judging somebody else for. That's no different than you trying to get the beam out of somebody's eye, and you ain't got the beam out of your own eye. The same commandment he's already spoken. All the stuff he's already said, so we should already be hip to what's going on. If you don't have proper judgment, this is what he requires for you to seek him. If you're not seeking out to purge yourself for the leaven, you can't check nobody else about the leaven they might have or the things they might be doing, because you're not doing it yourself. He gonna require that of you. Look at verse 2.
But we are sure that the judgment of Elohim is according to truth against them which commit such things. And think thou this, O man, that judge them which do such things, and do the same, that thou shalt escape the judgment of Elohim.
It's pretty much saying if you judging people that you're judging people on things that you still doing yourself, you don't think that you're gonna escape the judgment of Elohim, or you don't think he gonna come and seek that of you? We're at verse 4.
Or despise thou the riches of his goodness and forbearance and long suffering, not knowing that the goodness of Elohim lead thee to repentance. But after the hardness and impenitent heart, treasure up unto thyself wrath against the day of wrath, and the revelation of the righteous judgment of Elohim.
Start right there. So he's saying you despise the riches. What is saying the riches are? According to this verse, the goodness and forbearance and long suffering. That's just the mercy. The mercy is the goodness. His forbearance, that is mercy. That's tolerance. That ain't no different than you having mercy on your child. You done told them the same thing over and over, and you forbear. Because you showing mercy on them. You being patient, showing long suffering them. These are the qualities he's showing with us, because we always outside of that. Let's keep reading. We're going to see that.
Who will render every man according to his deeds, to them who by compassion, continuance, and well-doing seek for esteem and honor and immortality, eternal life.
What are they doing? The well-doing, they doing what? They say they're seeking. They seeking for the esteem and honor and immortality. So that means you seeking the kingdom. You seeking to enter into his rest or eternal life. But look, let's see what's going to happen to those who not seeking.
But unto them that are contentious and do not obey the Amat, but obey unrighteousness, indignation, and wrath, tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that do evil, of the Yahudim first, and also of the Gentile. But esteem and honor and shalom to every man that work good, to the Yahudim first, and also to the Gentile. For there is no respect of persons with Elohim.
Boom. So we see that. So when we go back to what we read in 2 Corinthians, they say they all enter into the covenant, and they say they're going to seek him. And what was the purpose, if y'all remember, of them entering into that covenant to seek him? Any of y'all remember what it said? Yeah, Chronicles 15, 2 Chronicles 15. You remember why they entered into that covenant with all their heart and all their soul? It tell you at verse 15. We read it. It said, "And all Yehudah rejoicing at oath, for they had sworn with all their heart and sought with their whole desire, and he found of them, and Yahuwah gave them rest round about." That's what we're looking to get, that rest. That's why he's saying it's eternal life, immortality is there for those who are seeking it with all their heart, laying down their life of their own so that they can take it back up again in immortality as his son did. That's what we're looking at. That's what he's requiring us to do. It's simple. All these things fall into the same category. The fruits of the Spirit. All these fall into having mercy, showing judgment, showing goodness, showing patience, showing long suffering. Because all these things he's exhibited towards us, so it's only right that we exhibit these things. We saying that we sons of God. We saying we sons of Elohim. We should be his offspring. We should be exhibiting these same qualities. Let's go to Titus 3:3. I still got holding on Romans 2. Let's go to Titus 3:3 real quick.
For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving diverse lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful and hating one another. But after the kindness and love of Elohim our Savior toward man appeared, not by works of righteousness which we have done, but according to his mercy he saved us by the washing of regeneration and renewing of the Ruach HaKodesh.
She said not by what?
Works of righteousness which we have done.
It's not by works of righteousness that we have done. It's not going to be, oh, I came and I showed myself obedient, now I'm going to be saved. I came and I started keeping the commandments. I knew his word. Now I'm being obedient. I'm keeping the law now. He's going to save me. No. Because he said he showed mercy on who you show mercy. The same person can get up and do that and feel like they got mercy, but no. You have not been doing what you require. You have not been seeking this man. You show error and judgment. You lack mercy. You lack patience. All these things is what we're looking at so that we can identify exactly what we need to be doing and not be complacent with what we feel like we've done, because it's not according to what we've done. It's according to his love and mercy that he's already showing towards us. Alright? So it say he saved us by the washing and regeneration and renewing of the Ruach HaKodesh. So when we go back to what we already talked about, is the objective is to get the rest. And you cannot get the rest without retaining the Spirit. Because the Spirit is what brings forth immortality. The Spirit is what brings forth the salvation that we're saying that we seeking after. Alright? Because like I said, we all were foolish. We all were disobedient. We all were deceived. Alright? Let's go back to Romans. The reason we went there to look at this, because this is what he said.
For as many have sinned without Torah shall also perish without, this is verse 12, without Torah, as many as have sinned in Torah shall be judged by the Torah. For not the hearers of Torah just before Elohim, but the doers of the Torah shall be justified. For when the Gentiles which have not Torah do by nature the things contained in Torah, these having not the Torah are a Torah unto themselves, which show the work of the Torah written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts the mean while accusing or else excusing one another.
So it's talking about their thoughts, right? Accusing them. Ain't no different than we was Gentiles doing stuff that we knew was wrong, and we might not have read it in black and white, but we knew it was wrong because it's your conscience. So we got to look at the same. Matter of fact, go up to. I don't think this is it.
You gonna be popping. You don't do
Well, I had it that way. We were just talking about being hardened. Just read it.
Verse 5.
Thank you. I don't know why my eyes, I can't even find it. Alright. Go back to verse 5.
But after the hardness
I'm
and
sorry, read 4. I'm sorry. I got my point. We're at verse 4.
or despise thou the riches of his goodness and forbearance and long suffering, not knowing the goodness of Elohim lead thee to repentance. But after thy hardness and impenitent heart treasure up unto thyself wrath against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of Elohim.
So that's what I want to get. The hardness. By us doing what we want to do. You got to understand that it's only through his mercy that when we were doing the things that we were doing before, that he didn't harden our hearts and strengthen us in the wickedness that we were doing. Because it wasn't just an epiphany that we came out of darkness and wanted to start seeking this man and wanted to start living by this man's commandments. It happened because he showed mercy on us and called us out of the darkness. Because he could have easily hardened us and allow our thoughts and allow our lust to be counted forth against us and lay up against us for his wrath to come. To give him a reason to seek us out. Because that's the main reason that everybody who not seeking his word right now is seeking his word, because he didn't give them a desire to do it. He didn't put it in their heart to change them that they will walk in the word. That's where the mercy comes from. Because anybody ask yourself what made you really want to get in the word? Like what really made you want to start walking this way? Do you feel like it was because of yourself? You think your body, your lust, and your affections just wanted to stop doing what you was doing? Y'all got to look at it like that. Because even though we all had brought into the word and got understanding, you still had stuff you wanted to do. You still had desires. You still had thoughts. You still had things in your heart that you know you need to get out. And those things were contrary. So what's the difference between somebody who still has those thoughts and mindset and not wanting to change at all? It's him showing mercy on you. Because at the end of the day, many people might still have them thoughts in their heart and their mind after receiving the word, and that's what's going to lead them to seek their life. Just because you start walking the word and starting to get understanding, that don't make you saved. So you got to look at the steps. Something make you want to start seeking after him and start to learn his word and at least attempt to do right. Because we know there's people out here who don't care. They see what it say, they know what it say, and they just outright do what they want to do. So you got to understand what's separating you from just being out there doing it on your own. Is it stuff that you got your heart into that you know you need to let go and you're not letting go? Because when you do that, you spitting on this man's mercy. Because he already done brought you this far. Now you saying, I don't want to go no further. I'm good right here where I'm at. And he going to require that of you. And that's the decision that you make. Alright? Let's jump to back up. Let's jump back to 2 Chronicles 15, and then we're gonna jump to Luke 12.
No, you don't go in there, son. There's women in there.
Mark,
In due time, you'll see a naked woman in due time.
What was the chapter?
we had that 2 Chronicles 15, and then we're gonna get Luke 12. Give me 1 second. Alright. 2 Chronicles 15. Let's jump to to 10. I want to read something in verse 10 real quick. and then we're gonna go back to Micah 6, and then we're gonna go to Luke. So we're at 2 Chronicles 15 and 10.
So they gathered themselves together at Jerusalem in the 3rd month, in the 15th year of the reign of Asa, and they offered unto Yahuwah the same time of the spoil which they had brought, 700 oxen and 7,000 sheep.
All right, so let's start right there. So we read that before they entered into this covenant, they brought forth an offering. Let's go back to Micah 6. So right before he told us what he required of him, he asked a question at verse 7. Or well, we can do it at verse 6.
Wherewith shall I come before Yahuwah and bow myself before the YAHUAH? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings and calves of a year old? Will Yahuwah be pleased with thousands of rams, or with 10,000s of rivers of oil?
Go ahead, start right up. So we're seeing that before they entered this covenant, they brought forth these sacrifices of goats and lambs and spoil and different things like that. But now we got to understand that what he wants from us is for us to do what he requires and bring forth the sacrifices of our own body, just like his son was sacrificed. So in you seeking the kingdom, it is you sacrificing, you forsaking yourself in exchange for that. Because we supposed to be dead already, because we already was living in our lust. We was already marked for death. He was already seeking us for death. And that's the scary part of, we see people die every day not doing what we doing. And you know they going to hell. We could have easily died before we even got to this point in our life. And we would have been automatically marked for hell. Now you got an opportunity to where, if you got this man's spirit upon you, if you die anytime you seal, you're going to see rest. Whether it's in our lifetime when he come, or whether we the first resurrected to see him from the grave. That's what you gotta consider. Did you come out that life and could have been dead and going to hell to come this far to still go to hell? Because if you're not lined up with this man's word, he's seeking your life for that still. It's no different. So that sacrifice needs to be made. Let's go to Luke 20. What's that? Luke 12? I said Luke 12 and 20. Yeah, 12 and 20.
Don't you go in there.
Matter of fact, yeah, 12. Hold on, let me get your verse. And that's the difference between the perfection. Them entered to that covenant with calves and all that, it was never going to perfect them. Versus now, this man has already died, and we already read in Romans, we ought to do the same thing and lay down our life, that we may take it up again for immortality. Alright? Let's go at 22.
And he said unto his disciples, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat, neither for the body, what you shall put on. The life is more than meat, and the body is more than raiment. Consider the ravens, for they neither sow nor reap, neither have storehouse nor barn. Elohim feed them, and how much more are ye better than the fowls? And of which of you, with taking thought, can add to his stature 1 cubit? If ye then be able to do that which is the least, why take ye thought for the rest? Consider the lilies, how they grow, they toil not and they spin not. Yet I say unto you that Solomon in all his esteem was not arrayed like one of these. If then Elohim so clothe the grass which is today in the field, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O ye of little faith?
Start right there. So now we seeing that what's going to allow us to seek him is for us to put our full trust in him. Because if you don't trust this man, you're not going to be able to execute the mercy. Because trust is nothing but faith. If you don't believe that you showing mercy, you don't believe that you walking justly, if you don't believe that you living the life that you living is going to produce eternity or produce everlasting life, you never going to do it. And it is comparing that to showing you naturally we the only people or the only creation that worry about the stuff that we worry about. When we ought to be worried about what's going to happen when we die. Or if we die tomorrow, what's going to happen. We can't get caught up and worry about taking care of our family, paying our bills, doing this, that, and the third, making sure our kids on schedule and making sure that we got enough money for this and we got enough money for that. It shouldn't blindside you from what your mission is supposed to be. Because at the end of the day, if one of us died tomorrow, You gonna be worried about how your kids get to school. You gonna be dead. You gonna be worried about how the rent gonna be paid. You gonna be dead. That's gonna be somebody else worrying about that. Why at the end of the day they should be worried about their soul too. And we lose sight of that because we gotta do it. We do the routine of what he already put on us by we gotta work for the sweat of our brow to provide as men, as mothers. We get that. At the same time, your faith and you being able to do what he's asking you to do should trump that. Because he can take that away from you and then what? Your heart's still going to be beating. He's still going to be requiring the same things he's requiring you, whether you got all the stuff that you got, whether you don't have nothing but the clothes on your back and the shoes on your feet. It's not different. It's nothing different. So we got to look at it the same way. It's no different than if any of us lost everything we got, are we still going to do what's required of us in the same capacity? And you got to ask yourself, you got everything you got now, he's giving you all the stuff you got. Are you seeking him? Because if you got everything you got now and he blessing you and you feel like you got what you need and you're not serving him, what you think gonna happen when he strip stuff away from you? You feel like you gonna serve him then? If you're not serving him now and you know you got what you need and you know your bills paid and you know you in the position you want to be in, you ain't serving him now, you know you're not gonna serve him when no kind of affliction come. But you ain't serving him while you straight. That's the mindset you gotta have. So if it's something right now that's hindering you, you gotta get that out your mind. Because at that point you're not seeking the kingdom, you're seeking to fulfill the lust of your flesh. Or whether it's the cares and the affairs of this life, you being choked out by that. That's what you got to consider. We're at verse 29.
And seek not what you shall eat or what you shall drink, neither be ye of a doubtful mind. For all these things do the nations of the world seek after, and your Abba know that you have need of all these things. But rather seek ye the kingdom of Elohim, and all these things shall be added unto you.
So look, he's saying that you seeking. He say for all these things the nations of the world seek after. It's showing you the perspective of us being where we are and how we are easily influenced. Because this is stuff that our people tell us, oh, make sure you got this, make sure you got that. Because the nations and the people around us that's not walking in this man's word, these are the things they seeking after. So naturally,
real big.
So naturally, we see that we influenced by these things. Yeah, this has been thrashed.
He think it's a game. He finna get up and he about to get thrashed. Don't take him in the bite and make his butt 3 shades darker. Cause that nigga just tried you.
Then LeBron went jump street. Nah, but look, this is what I was saying though. Naturally, these things that we seeing that we know we desire, we need, the nation seeking after these things. So the stuff we see, the desires, we desire these things. We desire to have a nice car, we desire to have nice clothes. We naturally desire these things because other people have it. And because we might just genuinely want it. But at the end of the day, is that coming before you seeking the kingdom? And you doing what's required of him? Because it's easy to do. Because everybody else doing it around you. That's the point of us being together. That's the point of us fellowshipping together, because we supposed to be one in the mashah, meaning we supposed to have one mind. That means we supposed to be influencing each other. We supposed to be bouncing that energy off each other to make each other stronger. That's the point of assembling together. That's the point of coming together. That's the point of being around each other. Because guess what? 80-90% of the time when you at work, when you in your endeavors and you living your life, you around sinners. You gotta understand that. So we looking at that as you seeking that kingdom first is what's gonna separate you. I got one more. Let's read these last 3 verses. We at verse 31.
Fear not, little flock, for it is your Abba's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell that you have and give alms, and provide yourselves bags which wax not old, a treasure in Shamahim that fail not, where no thief approach, neither moth corrupt. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Alright. We said it best. Where your treasure be, where your thoughts be, what you seeking in your heart, what you seeking in your mind is what's going to show forth you being joined to him, or whether him seeking the requirements of your life. So be diligent and consider.
All right, I got something for y'all real quick. It's